Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Do Video live stream. Tim, good to see you again, as always. How's your new year starting off? I've been starting off just in a good mood. trying to enjoy the year so far.
Yep, it's a great way to start the new year, and long may it continue.
Let's do this. Let's have some fun this year. Now, there's not a lot of big news happening so far, but there's one story that I think we might have a little bit of fun with, which is Microsoft is adding a button to the Microsoft keyboard, a Copilot button. So what do you think about that?
Um, Interesting that there seems to be an obsession with buttons. You've always had the Windows key. You've got a Microsoft Teams button that can do things, but very few people press it on devices. Um, you had Cortana, of course, which was voice activated in Windows that was meant to be some AI capability. I just wonder whether or not what is the value of a Copilot key?
Now, I think voice makes a lot more sense. I have bots that I set up on. I use not Cortana, my own crazy geek bots that I use, and they're all voice activated. I think if it wasn't for the fact that Cortana kind of became a joke, even though there's nothing wrong with it, but it just sometimes sometimes Microsoft gets a bad rap for something that's not their fault. Cortana was fine, got a bad rap. I think they can't go with voice; they have to go with the key. But it doesn't need its own key. It's software dependent. If I'm in Outlook, I'm pretty sure that Outlook's going to be designed so Copilot's going to be front and central. There'll be no problem finding it. I won't need a button for it. It seems
Where's it going to go, David?
it's a marketing
Any ideas
button.
of where it's going to go?
Should I is it wrong for me to say it's a marketing button?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I'd much rather highlight some text and right click or click on a button on the app itself. But I'm looking at my keyboard now and thinking, where's it going to go? Is it going to be the screen
Oh,
lock? Is it going to replace the screen lock key or the pause key or the
they said
insert key?
between the left arrow and the alt, but I have a control button there. So is it going to squish in the control button, or am I going to lose my right control button? But they said between the left arrow, next to the left arrow key. So
Well, Microsoft do make some good keyboards and mice and other peripheral devices. I'm pretty sure it's going to make its way onto those. I'm not sure whether Logitech and other keyboard manufacturers are going to follow suit. Maybe, maybe not, but it does seem more marketing orientated than end users screaming out for that functionality.
I think the Windows key is a good analogy, and what I saw happen in an analyst chat group that I'm in on LinkedIn, I think that's going to play out the same way with this button, which is 10 people in the group said, "Oh, this is like the Windows key button, which I've never pressed in my life. I don't know what that's for. What a stupid button. What a waste of space on my keyboard." And then 2 power window users said, "Oh, I use that button 3 times a minute. It does this. It does this. It does this." And the other 8 people are saying, "Ooh, the Windows button is cool. It does all that. I had no idea it does all that cool stuff." So I think it'll be the kind of thing where 90% of people will never touch it, and the other 10% are going to say, that other 90% stupid because this is the best button on the keyboard. It could be one of those things. But it does make me feel like the button that we always make fun of, the Microsoft Team button on devices in our space, devices in meeting rooms. I've been calling that a marketing button for a long time. And that's kind of mean because it does have a function, and if used correctly, it could produce productivity, but no one uses it correct. Not no one. I don't want to get in trouble here. Not no one. But I think a lot of people say, yeah, we don't press that. That's fair? Okay. All right, that's enough beating up on Microsoft for one day. I'm just asking for it. I'm just asking for it with them. But let's go into our first story. Let's see, what do we do first? Actually, okay, a little self-promotion first. I have a new video. It's not even up on the website yet, but it's going to be under tutorials. And what happened is I'm part of a group of analysts called BC Strategies. You can look us up, bcstrategies.com. I should know that. Great bunch of people. And I was in a meeting, and I was doing some of my little video tricks. And they asked me, hey, what software do you use to do that? Can you show us how that works? And I said, are you giving me an audience to talk about OBS? How much time can I have? I just love this stuff. So I gave a class, and let me bring it up here. And I recorded it, and the video is up on YouTube. It's an hour long. I know that's a lot, but I put in those chapter thingies. I think that makes it navigable. So I need to look over. I really need to rearrange my monitors. My third monitor is over there. I need to look away from the microphone to look at it. But I have how to install the software, just the very basics. Um, and I use this thing that kind of zoomed in on my mouse, so it might be a little distracting as my first time using it, so the screen might jump around with the mouse. But the basic, layout. What are you looking at? What are the windows in OBS? How do you set up your camera? If you have a green screen, how do I make yourself disappear? If you don't have a green screen, how do you make yourself disappear? Because I think most of people don't have a green screen. You don't need it now. They have well, it's in the video. If you don't have a green screen, you can make your background disappear. What really started this is the Santa overlay, which I zoomed in too much. But I have this cute Santa overlay that I used. Here we go. All throughout the holidays, trying to get a good view of it. And everyone's like, how'd you do that Santa overlay? So I had the Santa overlay trick, and I wrap it up by showing, zoom forward a little bit. I'm using my friend Blair, or a picture of Blair as an example, how I do what we're doing right here. This is what everyone really said. This should be the finale. We love your stream with Tim. How do you get Tim, who is in a different continent, to be sitting next to you? So I wrapped that up. So everyone, I'll put the link below. I hope you enjoy this. If everyone has any questions, you could tell I love talking about this. Reach out to me. I'm happy to get on Zoom or Teams with you and just talk about OBS.
I'm going to have a look at that myself, David, because when you think about what's happening in enterprises, there is an awful lot of high value broadcast quality recordings, webinars going on out there. And sometimes just having two talking heads in a studio isn't enough. Sometimes you need to use the sorts of stuff that we use on your show to sort of demonstrate a point or talk about something. So I shall certainly have a look myself, but this isn't just about self-promotion on YouTube. This is stuff that you could really benefit from if you're an enterprise that's looking at producing that quality content.
Thanks. I mean, to be honest, yes, at the end of the day, I look at the little number of how many people liked it, and if the little number is bigger, the chemicals in my brain make me happy. But this is something that I think is hopefully relevant to our audience. I'm kind of proud to announce I'm on a committee for Infocom that chooses which sessions. I'm like, how am I sitting in this group? But I met with them this week, and we're looking at the submissions for sessions for Infocom, for our industry. And one of the sessions that we decided is really important, people asking for it, is remote production. And this is one way to do remote production. So this is something that we're doing. And we've talked before about enterprises repurposing rooms to be an in-house studio, which could use some of this. So not just self-promotion. Hopefully some of you could find it useful. On to our next story. I have a new article up on Tech Target, and I had a little fun with this. They asked me to update every year. I have my 5 trends for the year, and I made I made all 5 trends AI just because it was so easy to do. I mean, that's the one trend. The one trend is AI, but I made all 5 trends, and I didn't have to stretch. I thought I'd get 3, and the last 2 would be like, okay, David, you're trying to make it. But just to go through them quickly, and I'll put a link to this below as well. AI-driven meeting summaries. We've talked about these. Sometimes some of them from some vendors, we've said, not so impressive. Some of them have said, wow. But the fact that some of them are wow and not just, yes, they've improved over the years, makes me think that this is going to be a big thing. I'm particularly excited. I don't think I'm the only one who's excited.
Well, I think with that trend, it's really great. Of course, what you want to do is to be able to find it easily post-event. So to have this meeting summary is fine. Not a lot of people want to cut and paste that and put that into somewhere else. So
Zoom's been emailing
the capability is
after
great.
Every meeting.
Yeah. So I mean, to have an email summary, paste it up on a team chat session, or if you're put it in as a Microsoft Loop component or potentially a Zoom doc component or whatever you want. I mean, it's finding it afterwards, which is a lot of the problem, including finding the meeting recordings. So I hope these vendors make it easier for us to find meetings that we can refer back to, because that's not always easy.
Yeah. I like a feature that isn't used enough, that Zoom has. I'm assuming Teams has it too, but I haven't played with it on Teams, where you could save the chat, and it turns into a Zoom chat room. So sometimes once a meeting's over, it's like, oh, someone put a link in the chat and I didn't get it, and now it's gone for good. It's poof. I mean, it's not just that I don't know how to find it. It's poof, it's gone. But you could turn, it just continued the chat, and it's not just a history of it. You go into Zoom chat, and it's just any other chat room, and you continue the conversation. That's an amazing feature. I don't see a lot of it, but that kind of workflow applying to what you're saying, applying to the meeting summaries, that's what we need. We need everything
Yeah.
the meeting isn't over when the meeting's over.
Well, it's infuriating, isn't it? If you hold say you hold an initial meeting, a kickoff meeting, to have to then go back and add all of those people into a separate channel and then try and copy all the assets from that meeting over into a new channel just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
If you can say that's a great meeting, we need to talk about this further, and then just take that and move that into a channel, fantastic. I'm not sure you can do that in Microsoft Teams. Maybe that's one for the backlog.
Oh. You can do it in Zoom, but I haven't used it. I think my fear is that I'm going to accidentally put it on by default, and at the end of the week, I'm going to have 700, because I do a lot of meetings. I don't need a new chat room. I need to use it sparingly when I'm starting a new project with a new client, that kind of a thing. Next one. Oh, this is fun already. AI powered in meeting support. One thing that we all loved, and maybe it's kind of a thing that, yeah, of course it's going to be useful in real life, but it just really looked good in a demo, was at WebEx1, in the middle of the meeting, someone got up because Amazon knocked at their door or whatever, and they came back in 5 minutes, and as they're sitting down, the AI popped up and says, hey, I saw you stepped away for a few minutes. I guess Amazon probably knocked at your door. Here's what you missed. It didn't say the Amazon part, but it said, oh, I see that you stepped away. Here's what you missed. And it was just exactly what they needed to know. Ooh, everyone went ooh at that. And that's just one example of the AI in meeting stuff. So I think this is something to be excited about.
Yeah, really good.
Next one. The multi-camera stuff. Every vendor is pushing their intelligent director. They all have different names for them. Part of me thinks, David, did you learn anything from telepresence? And I did. These aren't going to be in every meeting room, but they're going to be in some meeting rooms, and we're going to learn so much from the technology. It's going to trickle down and make everything better.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we're going to have more purposeful meeting rooms. It's not just going to be a generic meeting room. As we said, something that can be repurposed for high value content that you might want to use for video recordings or town halls. That might be one thing with green screen support and OBS. You may have another one that is more around ideation, and maybe that ideation room has multiple cameras, a whiteboard, an interactive whiteboard, some other capabilities that allow it for ideation. And then you might just have more generic meeting rooms, which might be for team meetings or one-to-ones. I have a feeling there'll be specific meeting rooms. Enterprises will be thinking about specific meeting rooms for different use cases. That would be really interesting.
I think it's going to, and the term meeting rooms is so stuck. It's kind of like, when we save, we click an icon that looks like a floppy disk that doesn't exist anymore. And I think maybe even some of our viewers are young enough that they're like, what is that thing anyway? What is the save icon supposed to look like? I've never seen that in real life. Maybe in 10 years from now, we're going to say, why do we call them meeting rooms? We don't really meet in there. We do all this other stuff in there. Up till now, they've been meeting rooms. I really think it's gonna be that dramatic of a change. Okay, so next was only two more. Maybe we shouldn't have gone through the whole article. Well, I'm having fun. AI monitoring for enhanced productivity. Oh yeah, this is the stuff of the contact center stuff. I feel so bad for those contact center agents. They have the toughest job, and if AI is monitoring them and saying, your pulse rate is up, your face looks red, you're breathing heavy, dude, you need to chill. Go drink a glass of water. Go listen.
That's
to
not a bad
Floyd.
thing. Agent burnout is a serious problem, and if you're listening to some very heavy stuff and you need to be very empathetic, then maybe it's time to take a break after X number of calls, because you can have empathy burn. You might not be able to relate to your customers and clients. I can see some plus sides to this as well. I think
it's a serious thing. And the last one, of course, is your favorite thing: Maybelline filters. Now, not exactly. But AI in background and first of all, I don't want to completely dismiss Maybelline filters. If something does make someone feel more comfortable on video, and then they could be more productive, yes, it's a good thing, but I agree with you. It's not the leading feature.
Well, I think we
um,
discussed it before we met, didn't we? Before we started this stream, to have the ability for AI to automatically set white balance if you hold up a white piece of
that's what we
card,
want.
or I'm lucky enough. I upgraded my LG panel, my TV, not so long ago. Wasn't hugely expensive. I don't want to spend a lot of money on that, but it did automatically set up the sound to optimize for the room dynamics. If you can have that built in, for me, that would be fantastic, because you know what it's like. You go into a room, you draw the curtains or the drapes, or you bring down the blinds, or you have a lot of people in the room. It deadens the sound, it changes the acoustics. To be able to optimize for that on every call at the start of every call, I think would be really good.
Yeah, that's what I want, and we're getting it for audio. We're starting to get some really good AI to optimize the room for audio, so we do it ourselves because AI is better. But we're not getting it for video, and I want it because every once in a while I make a mistake and I reset the features on my camera. I reinstall the firmware when I didn't need to, or whatever. It's my fault. My fault. But
Well,
the fact is, I turn on the camera and I'm blue, or I'm orange, or I'm white, or I'm not the right color. And even now, I don't think this is exactly my skin tone, but it took me an hour and a half to get it that I look human and not alien, and I'm not touching it now, and I'm still not satisfied with it because I want it to be real life, for better or worse. Even if I'm less attractive in real life, I want to be real life. I don't want people to see me at a conference and say, "Oh, you look different on camera." I hate that, and I just
the other
can't.
thing is,
I can't do it myself. I'm not smart enough. I need AI.
yeah, while you're talking about AI features, the noise reduction on some of these systems is absolutely amazing. So
Amazing.
I live in an attached property. I work from home. Neighbors were having some construction work going on. I was on a call and this hammer drill started. Someone was using a hammer drill to knock down some walls next door. Now, none of it came across. I was really shocked. None of it came
Yeah.
across in my team meeting. I was really, really impressed. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes to make this so much better for everyone.
Yeah. And this is anecdotal, but I do a lot of meetings, and over the last year, this is in Zoom and in Teams and in WebEx, there have been at least a dozen occasions where someone has said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for my dog. I'm so sorry my dog won't start barking." At least a dozen. Number of times that I actually heard a dog, zero. I have never, this entire year, I have not heard a single bark. And that's on all three platforms and all different types of dogs, to the point where I have to say, "Oh, you have a dog? Let me see. Bring in the dog. Come on, bring in the dog." The noise reduction has gotten so good. One quick thing: the of all the things that's happening in AI background, the one thing that really was my wow moment that got me to make this to make it to my list. I think it was a WebEx thing where, instead of giving you a fake background like what I do, it analyzed your room, your actual room, and improved it. So it gave you better art, put a plant on the shelf instead of the clutter of letters that you have there. It got rid of the pile of laundry and put a piece of art there. So it's your room, but it's redecorated nicely. And I'm thinking, not only do I want to use that for meetings, I want to use that to redecorate my room. I want to use that and take a snapshot of it and go shopping. I thought that was
I've done
so
that
cool.
myself in Microsoft Teams. What's been really funny though is it looked at. I've got one of these Dyson fans because of course we don't have air conditioning in the UK, and with
Oh,
climate
those are
change
good.
things are warming up. It looked at one of my Dyson fans and interpreted it as a trombone. So I've now got this really weird trombone shaped object in this virtual background. But
That's
it's
cool.
really interesting. It's really impressive. Yeah,
I
it's really
love,
good.
and that's just like the first initial what they're coming up with. I'm like, we're gonna see some cool background because everyone loves the background stuff anyway, so they might as well. It makes sense for Zoom and Teams and WebEx to put some development into it because that's what the people love.
Makes it more engaging. It makes you want to, yeah, it makes you want to be more in tune and more interactive on the video. So yeah, all good stuff.
So I have one more topic for today, um, which is a little bit off topic, but we were talking about it before the stream, and we kind of agree that it should be interesting to a lot of our audience. I've been experimenting with multi-streaming lately. You're streaming to more than one platform. Right now, we're just on YouTube. I think in 2 weeks from now, we're going to be on YouTube and LinkedIn. I've been playing with a service called Restream, that does that. But as with anything, when I try something streaming, I first test it with my guitar stream, and then I do it here. So I've been multi-streaming on my guitar stream between doing Twitch and YouTube at the same time, and I even did one on LinkedIn, which which one of our co-analysts commented and said, David, what are you doing? Because it's odd. There's colors and graphics everywhere, but I really was really just, and I put in the title was, I am just testing this. It was a little awkward. But during this, I've learned a lot about how these three platforms handle the DMCA law, the copyright law. And it's kind of an interesting topic, and it affects what I do here. You know, there's a reason that I don't play music in the background. It would make this nice if we had some music in the background, but well, you know, I'd have to be very careful about what music I use, or we get blocked or demonetized. And a lot of content creators get very upset with the platforms. They get mad at YouTube. They get mad at Twitch because they don't like the way things are handled with the copyrights. And it's not their fault. The law needs to be updated. The law is older than YouTube. It's the internet was new. It's not. And there's some consequences that just don't make sense. Like, for example, if you do one of those videos where you're just kind of walking down the street talking to your phone, Simon Dudley's been doing a few of those. I've seen them on LinkedIn. I like them. He's, you know, just walking in, just giving his thoughts. If a car drove by him and that car was playing an Eagles song, and he picked up the Eagles song, that video would get taken off of YouTube. Eagles is one of those bands that's a pure block. They would take it off, and they'll give you a strike. And if you get 3 strikes, your channel gets kicked off. So people are like, that's not right. You know, we're mad at YouTube for that. That's the law, and that's the way the Eagles are choosing to handle it. It's just, it is what it is. You just got to be careful. But anyway, what I've learned is, this is very interesting, the way Twitch handles it. And Twitch doesn't have the resources that YouTube has. Twitch is owned by Amazon, but YouTube is owned by Google, and YouTube is just bigger and gets more love. YouTube gets more love from Google than Twitch gets from Amazon. I think that's fair to say. So when I do a guitar stream on Twitch, play 20 songs, afterwards I get an email from Twitch saying, and I set it to keep the recording. You could do that on both platforms when you're live. Just like this will be a recording afterwards. I get an email from Twitch saying, we've deleted your recording and you can't do that again. You're going to get in trouble. We caught you. Our bots picked up that you're playing copyrighted songs, and you can't do that on our platform anymore. What they used to do is they used to mute the songs, but they got scared and now they do this. So what every musician on Twitch does is they just turn off the recordings. They don't catch it if you play. They can catch us. They have a bot. They have AI that can catch us live. They're just not turning it on for whatever reason. So we're just crossing our fingers they don't change it. We're all breaking the law. But musicians play cover songs. Is what we do. But so that's the way Twitch handles it, which is kind of scary. So we just don't do recordings. The way YouTube handles it is beautiful. It's magical. It's the way the world should be. I do a stream on YouTube. I play 20 songs. Afterwards, I get an email saying it's blocked unless you fix it. And it says, oh, it's scared. It's blocked. Well, let's see what I click it. They have a list of the 20 songs I played. Their AI picked up all 20 songs, and they say, these 18, you can keep them up, but the musicians will, the song owners will get the revenue. Are you okay with that? I'm like, yes, that's what I want. If I play a Police cover, I don't want the revenue from that. It's not my song. I want Sting to have it. I love Sting. I don't want to steal from Sting. Could you imagine me stealing from Sting and Sting being mad at me? It'd be terrible. I just made Sting money. I'm in Sting's band now. I'm Sting's partner. That's the way we want it to be. And the other 2 songs, it'll say, these copyright owners do not do the revenue share thing. If you want to keep this video up, you need to mute the song. Click here to mute the song. Click. That's easy enough. So if you go to my YouTube history, I have all these videos with all these songs, and 1 or 2 videos per song will be muted. If you go to Twitch, I can't do it. On LinkedIn, it was the worst. LinkedIn, they did nothing. They have nothing in place. I didn't get a warning. I didn't get muted. Nothing happened. So and it's not like, oh, well, that's their problem. They're vulnerable. I'm vulnerable now. I'm up there on YouTube playing copyrighted material. I don't want that. I deleted the video. I deleted it from LinkedIn. So just a little.
Well, I guess this
lesson.
also, yeah, this has relevance, of course, if you're doing B2C broadcasts, you're looking at an enterprise CDN sort of platform provider. You don't want to, have something playing in the background that your company could get into trouble for. I doubt it. Many companies have public performance licenses or things like that. So there is some relevance here when you're producing content in a B2C capability, I guess. Also B2B. I don't know what the laws are, but it's certainly a whole area that is very interesting. And I think AI, will be used to go out there and make sure you're not infringing copyright. So while it's like the roles are reversed, isn't it, David? Because we've got people saying, well, AI is taking my copyrighted information, New York Times being one of them, taking Microsoft to court. And now it's the other way around. It's like AI going out on behalf of people to find out whether or not you are infringing on copyright. So
Oh, that's
brave
exactly what
new
it's
world
doing.
out there.
Yeah, and there is a problem with it for a lot of my unboxing videos. I use a sound, a music, a background track that I have license for. I paid for it. It's called At the Top. It came along in a bundle with some editing software I use. It's sometimes called Camtasia. So I own this. I paid for it 100% legitimate. It sounds similar to a copyrighted song. The AI, 1 out of every 10 videos, the AI picks it up, it gets blocked. I have to send an email to the copyright owner because YouTube, that's one thing that people complain about. YouTube's very good at protecting the copyright owners. It's not good at helping the false copyright claims. It's they don't care at all. So I have to reach out to the copyright owner and say, hey, I'm playing a song that sounds like your song. Can you unblock it? And they're always like, yeah, we'll unblock it. They have a system in place. But there's a lot of malicious, bad people out there that just put up videos with songs that's not theirs, put a copyright in it. Like, there are people who put out original songs, and then a year later they find out that their song is blocked because of a copyright violation. Like, that's my song, and it's some bad person who put up a false claim. And YouTube's not good at that. And it's something that affects anyone. If you're one of our vendors and you're making a video for your new video bar, well, I think you already know you can't put Hotel California by the Eagles behind it, but you can get in trouble putting copyrighted music behind it, just dealing with this whole system. Just thought it'd be an interesting topic. Anything else for us this week?
I don't think so. I'll be interested to see what our fellow colleagues have brought back from CES. Of course, that was going on. And the nice thing about CES,
Yeah.
because it's a consumer show, is that you usually find that the enterprise market mirrors a lot of what's going on in the consumer world. So I'll be very interested to get some insight and some understanding as to what was hot at CES.
Yes, every year I'm feeling more and more guilty for not attending because at first I'm like, oh, it's consumer. I cover business. I'm just not interested. And now it's like, come on. It's starting to become all the same here. So I'm starting to think I should attend, and I'm very looking forward to seeing what was shown there. All right. So with that, thanks again, Tim, and thanks everyone for watching, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.